get started for the evening so we don't run out of time. What I'd like to do is a little meditation to settle us in, and then I'll talk a little bit about the practice of mantra and the practice of meditation, which are the two kind of minimum commitments for the program. The centerpiece of the 100 Days of Care is a daily practice of reciting a mantra that you've either written or that you will write for yourself, and a moment of meditation. So your commitment to meditate could be as short as 1 minute long. If that is, if you say you're going to do a minute a day and you end up doing 5 minutes a day, great. But you know, everybody, I think, if you remember to do it, you could pause for 1 minute. So yeah. So I'll talk a little about what mantra is and meditation, and then the program in a general way, and then we'll have a breakout discussion, I think maybe 3 or 4 groups, and we'll put a couple of questions into that so that you can discuss with each other around your mantra. And I'm hoping in that we'll, you know, when we hear each other talk about how we're practicing and what we're practicing, then we say, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to try that too. I mean, this is one of the benefits of practicing in community, is to be able to communicate what our practice is like and inspire each other. So yeah, so if you want to make yourself comfortable, we could just do a little sit here. You could sit up in your chair, or if you like, you could lay back. Meditation can be done in any position. And the most important thing is a combination of comfort and alertness. So maybe close your eyes if you like. Some people like to turn their cameras off. That's totally fine. And just take some deep breaths as you sit here. And the deep breaths, the purpose just to center yourself, extending the length of the exhalations. Maybe even a sigh comes out, and just doing that 2 or 3 times and feeling yourself arrive. Allowing the muscles of the face to relax. You could turn up the corners of the mouth into a small smile. Allow your shoulders to soften. Feeling into the physical presence of the body and the space around the body. You could touch into sound, sounds in the room around you, or if you have the windows open, you might hear the sounds of the evening. And letting the body breathe naturally, just noticing the breath. Breathing in, aware of breathing in, breathing out, aware of breathing out. Breathing in long. If the body takes a longer breath or a deeper breath, we know the body breathing long. Body breathing in short or shallow. So we become aware of the quality of the breath. And around that, or in connection with that, the quality of the attention, the mind itself. So it may be that you easily gather the mind, settling down like a leaf falling slowly to land on the ground, or a snow falling softly, settling. That sense of calmness. Feeling into the space of the heart, the center of the chest. Introducing the idea of loving kindness mantra, I will offer to the group the one that I've been working with. So we could do the same mantra together. I invite you to recite it to yourself internally as I do. So I'll read a part of it and you could recite those words, feeling them into your, or feeling their resonance in your heart. All is well. I am safe. I am loving awareness. All is well. I am safe. I am loving awareness. All is well. I am safe. I am loving awareness. So in addition to the words, we sense into or feel into the response to the words. So we allow our heart to move, or we allow our heart to open. When we hear the words or we repeat the words to ourselves, I am safe. We kind of want to drink in that feeling of safety, that feeling that I am okay, complete, whole. We hear, I am loving awareness, and we allow the words to land, loving. We hear the warmth, the ease of loving kindness, and then awareness, the luminous quality, that awakeness that is inherent in each of us. So if you have a mantra already that you've been working with, it might be something you wrote today for day one or something you've had for a longer time. You spend a minute or two here just reciting your own mantra. If you haven't written one yet, you can borrow from what I've suggested. And combining a sense of presence, so fully aware of the body and the space around the body, and the sentiment in the words, and the resonance in the heart. And see if it can be a natural expression of your being, in the sense that there's nothing to force here. And if there's not a resonance, if there's not a feeling of warmth, or if you hear the words, I am safe, and it doesn't resonate, might not be your mantra. So finding your mantra really has that quality of shifting you into that feeling of wholeness, care. And if there is a feeling, a welling up of caring feeling or loving feeling, mindful of that. Is there warmth in the heart or belly? And then that sense of expansion and a natural wish to share this sentiment. So maybe, bringing to mind each other here in the Zoom environment, virtually connected, each in our own space. All is well. You are safe. You are loving awareness. So acknowledging or recognizing each other. And expanding your heart to include those around you in your home or in your neighborhood, in your local community. So we feel a connection to human and animals around us, all sentient beings. We'll make a transition now, just gradually. We could open the eyes and come together in the virtual space. You'd be stretch as you like, shift. But I think that was just over 10 minutes. I have a tendency to go on, but I like to push it a little, to give you that depth. It takes time, especially after a long, busy day. If you've had a day like me, it takes time for the mind to settle down, to center ourselves. But as we start to practice that recognition, as we have develop a meditation practice, the fruit of it, which comes just from that natural settling and stillness and contemplation, once we have some experience of it, we know the destination, and it might be easier in time, or we develop the ability to drop in more quickly through practice. So mantra. So the word mantra is not necessarily associated with loving kindness practice. So loving kindness, the phrases that you might be familiar with, may you be safe, may you be happy, may you be filled with loving kindness. It's not generally called a mantra. It's a practice. Mantra is got a particular meaning, which is protection. But I'm using it in broadly in a term of something that is recited, and that has that quality of protection. So in the case of creating a loving kindness mantra, you've got two levels of protection. One is that when your mind is engaged in reciting the words, so all is well, I am safe, I am loving awareness. If you sat and you just recited all is well, I am safe, I am loving awareness. Or you could even shorten it, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness. And there has that the protection can come just from the mind being given this sound to repeat, this, these words to repeat. And when the mind is doing that, the thinking mind, the conceptual mind, it can't get into other things, or it's less likely to get into trouble. So it's protection in the sense of it's not, we're not going to be sitting worrying about our trouble. We're not sitting thinking about someone else's faults. Our mind is just doing the mantra. And that's going to protect us from going into despair or criticism of others or worry and anxiety. So that's one level of protection with mantra and with your mantra, if you want to practice in that way. So your commitment might be just to recite it once and write it down, but you could also play with it as a repetitive sort of soothing mind protection in this sense. And if you have a mala, which is like prayer beads, a wrist mala, or there's some time, the necklace mala is a longer traditional mala. You could sit and recite your mantra in that way. And so you move your hands along the beads and you recite the words, and it's almost maybe trance-like, you could say. And as we did in the meditation, we want to also feel the resonance in the meaning of the words, the practice of not having the mind wander off, and the meaning behind the words. But also it's protection in the sense that loving kindness itself is a protection. So I don't know what your experience was during the meditation, and you might share that with each other in small group. But when the mind is contemplating others' good qualities, our own good qualities, the good qualities of our environment, I am safe. So, appreciating the safety of our environment. That's a protection too. It's a protection from the unwholesome, where we're finding fault, where we're in anxiety. So love is the great protector, because the enemy is the hatred itself. There are no external enemies. Yeah. So I don't want to go on, and I think you all know I could. So I wanted to touch on those two things specifically, because that's the heart of the 100 Days of Care. So to recite or to develop a mantra for yourself, and you want to recite it every day, you could write it in your book, either your own blank journal or in the workbook. And then there's that in the list for priorities and commitments, that top, I don't know if this is forward or backward, but that, there, meditation. So then if you'd sat for a minute or 5 minutes, then you would put a little tick in that box. And that's your basic, each day you want to do for 100 days. Beyond that, those other lines there, you might write in things that you want to do as well as meditation. So, 10 minutes of yoga, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm not going to drink coffee. Yeah, I don't recommend that one. But some kind of small habit that you're interested in cultivating or giving up. So a habit that you might want to give up. Again, keep it super simple and small. And for that list, like beyond the mantra and the meditation, those other things can be different every day. That's how I do it, at least. So I don't say I'm giving up coffee for 100 days. I decide that morning, other than meditation, these are the ways I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get into bed before 9 p.m. I mean, I think those ones were on most of my last 100 days each day. Like, so the things that you have in the forefront of your mind in terms of what your best self wants to be engaged with. Yeah, things that are supportive of your well-being. Yep, makes sense. There's also a section there for morning check-in and intention. What is my practice today? How will I be of service to my future self and others? So this piece, and maybe I'll just keep it simple. We're moving in the first 10-day period, we're moving through determination, which I'll talk about more next week. So your practice could be around determination, around today I will notice where my energy goes. And it's really awareness. So I think Paula commented during her housekeeping check-in that, in our discussions, we're not fixing each other. Also, doing the 100 Days of Care is not about fixing this. This is not a project of improving Heather as a being, as much as it is a caring for and a awakening to. So we're going to develop mindfulness around, what do I do? What am I doing? Where does my day go? Because we're establishing, I'm going to do this, this, this. Then we see, oh, did I do it? When we do that evening check-in, actually, did I do anything I set out to do? And basically we create a container then. Each day is a little retreat container of, this is what my intention to do. And at the end of the day, we see, did I do it or not? And it's not about, oh, I'm failing. It's about, oh my goodness, I didn't know I spent time doing that, or I didn't know how often my mind went there. Yeah, so we start to develop a mindfulness in our daily life. Okay, so I'm going to cut myself off, and we're going to do some small group now. And what I'd love for everyone to do when you get into the small group is, if you have your mantra created and are willing to share it, you could each share what you're going to start with. There was one other point on this, and that is, you can work with this. You can say to yourself, I'm going to have the same mantra, or you can have a different mantra every day. There's no rules about any of it. So, and you could talk about that in the small group, because I know some of you will have done it before, and so you could share your experience, and those who are new can ask questions. So Paula, are you prepared to set up those groups now?
I'm just in the process. So just give me a couple of moments.
And I think the plan is that she's going to divide us into these groups. I'll be in one of them myself. And then when we meet back in the main room in 10 minutes, I think 10 minutes is what we said. And then we'll have someone from each of the small groups maybe speak to the larger group. And in this way, we can pool sort of all of get a feeling for where people are at and pool the wisdom. How's that? Paula, you set? You just pause for a moment, let your belly relax, let your face soften. If you want to close your eyes, you could. And this is just an acknowledgement that we're on the threshold now from these conditions that have come together, this group of people to come together and practice, and now moving into the rest of our evening. Just taking a moment to feel into the heart, planting any seeds there with respect to the rest of the evening, or the week between now and when we meet again. If you're inclined to, you could bring your hands either over the heart or together in front of the heart and dedicate the power of our practice, the merit we accumulate through practice for the benefit of all beings. May there be an end to greed, an end to hatred, and an end to confusion. May there be peace.